It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Roswell Independent School District Superintendent Brian Look back with us. Good morning, sir.
Morning. How are you guys?
Doing great. How about yourself? I know busy. You guys
Yep.
keeping going, lots to going on, and of course, not just in the academic world, but the playoff world here.
Yes, sir.
It's, all the fall sports are kind of
That's
coming
right.
to playoffs here, and of course, volleyball and football are really hot on people's
Right.
topics right now. So. Real quick before we talk about the meeting, if you'd like to go to the football game Friday,
Yes, sir.
you have to get your tickets in advance, and you have to go through the link that the RSD has set up. It's on their Facebook website.
Right.
There's a bunch of different places, but you got to use that, and you gotta put your ticket basically on your phone through
Right.
the UR codes and show that at the gate. You can't show them up with paper,
Right.
and you can't come and pay at the door. It's just part of it's COVID, part of it's just the way the world's going, but. It is what it is, and so if you'd like to go to the game, get your tickets in advance. And we want to fill the Wool Bowl up Friday and get out there and root them on. This is not an alternative, but
No.
this is an option for your out-of-town friends and family. We will be carrying the game, ksvptv.com, and on the radio and everything. Volleyball as well, as the Goddard Lady Rockets. They actually sit there and waited for everyone to advance.
Right.
They're going to face it in the quarterfinals against Artesia Friday morning.
Yes, sir.
We will have that game for you right on the radio. We can't video it because it's up in Albuquerque. We don't have the rights. It falls into ProView territory, but we'll have it here. Joby Hotling's going to be calling all of our games on Friday.
Oh, good.
And then on Saturday, if we hopefully we still got games on volleyball to call on Saturday. Kelly McDonald will be calling all of those games since we're covering two schools, Artesia and Goddard, while we're there. But personnel, so Joby's going to be up there Friday, and while Kelly's calling football with us Saturday, and then they were flipped. And Joby's coming back down here. And
Well, that was nice of the two schools to play each other like that, so that you guys could only use one broadcaster there for that first game. I mean, I'm sure both coaches had worked that out for y'all. So.
It was very nice and handy, But if you want to go to the pit and root on the Lady Rockets or for folks in Artesia, the Lady Bulldogs here, you do have to get your tickets in advance. Everything else, even for up there in Albuquerque,
right? And it's so the link to both of those is actually on our webpage, and we ran into a little bit of problems the other night, and it was a informational issue. I mean, a lot of people didn't know, and we've tried to do a better job with that this week, and it really is a very simple process if you're even kind of versed with more of a smartphone, and we're working really hard. We're trying to figure out if there were ways that we could help out with people that might not have the technology that's there. I'm working with Mr. Cooper trying to see if we can figure something out with that. I do know this: if you've got a phone and you're still kind of doing the I really don't know how to do this. You come by the district office. I mean,
someone will help you do it.
It is. Yeah. It like I said, and once you get to the gate, it is super nice because you got your phone out and you're showing them your ticket, and we'll let you punch the redeem button when you're standing in front of the people. Please don't do that before you get there.
Okay.
And that's we had some people say, well, I don't want them touching my phone, and I got that. But all we ask is that when you get up, and especially if you've got like a family and you've got multiple tickets, just come up to the ladies and show them your ticket, and then you hit your redeem button, and it'll roll through, and then we'll let you ride on in. And
perfect. Okay.
In some ways, it actually gets you in the gate a little quicker because you're not having to wait for the person in front of you that had a $200 bill that they're making change for one ticket or something like that. So I mean
Now, this could be a weird question or not, but concessions and everything, are they okay to buy cash and everything in there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Support the booster clubs and everything.
And we encourage that. I mean,
okay, good. I didn't make sure.
No.
I didn't know if that policy came inside too or not. Just to
ironically,
clarify
they haven't figured out how to get into that one yet.
Okay. It's coming though.
Oh yeah, but once we hit the playoffs, and it makes everything different. I mean, the ticket prices go up, and we've tried really hard as a district to be as accommodating as possible, and this was something we actually looked at early on with our district, and we were like, we didn't feel like we were ready as such, and then too we were like, this might not be the year to give this a shot, but other districts around the state have already gone to this. I mean, we go to Hobbs for even a freshman game, and you're buying that ticket online, and if you get to the gate and you kind of the frustration just kind of can be overwhelming because well, if I'd have known this, or if I'd have known that, and like I said, we're trying really hard to make sure that word gets out. But but a Goddard Roswell anything is usually very well attended, and
I imagine it's going to be a packed
it
stadium.
It should be. I have lived here my entire life, and I don't know if this ever happened.
We saw what 2 weeks ago here when Roswell Goddard square off, and it was a great packed place, and I imagine it's going to be even wilder Friday night out there. So.
I look forward to some good football.
We're kind of blessed here right now, aren't we?
I tell you what,
we're very blessed with some great quality talent. Yeah,
we're spoiled when it comes to stuff like that, and it's a good spoiled because both schools have got to a level of excellence that it's come to be expected that you're playing right now. And
just by comparison, folks, I went to high school in Maryland, and our football team stunk and everything, and so there was probably like our bleachers were a little bit bigger than like what you see at a little league ball field, but not much more. And they barely filled those.
Oh wow! Well,
so we got it pretty good here.
Well, I won't lie. I was kind of bummed whenever I saw the brackets come out, and I was just like, you start placing the what if, and I kind of felt sort of slighted that the both of these teams had to play in this round
in the same bracket.
And then I get to looking at the bracket a little bit, and I mean, you've got a Los Lunas Berlin game this week. You've got I want to say like maybe Cibola Rio Rancho, and it's just like, well, I guess this is what's going on right now.
It's the way of the world.
It's the way of the world, but we would encourage people to get out. It should be just a perfect football night.
Yeah.
So
I think 60s during the day, so
wear your jacket and get out there and support everybody and have a good time.
Yep, and like I said, tell your out-of-town friends and family they can watch it online.
Absolutely.
Now, that's probably going to be the last game we can show on video because once they get to the semifinals, the ProView and MMA generally start carrying those games. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say this is probably the last game you'll get to see on video for football this season.
Right, and we want to thank Gene and the crew for coming out and doing all the video and showcasing the kids with that. It's been nice.
It's been great to partner with the RISD and Brick Cooper and everything because those guys, I can't take credit. It's all the video people. I'm just a guy that sits here and spews on the radio all day. But these guys, during especially like last year when with everything, where people couldn't go to games and things like that, we had these guys that helped with all of your coaches and managers and staff. Sometimes we had a manager, like a high school manager, take a camera to the soccer game and set it out there just so people could watch the soccer game. We didn't have announcers, but we would funnel it all, and these guys were doing all that.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a very collaborative effort by a lot of folks to just even get something out, so folks, families could see their kids perform.
Yeah, well, and the sponsors that they, especially those that know what they're sponsoring, thank you to them too, because that's how that stuff happens.
Yeah. Go when Thomas goes into your room or into your building, your office. Don't run away. You can tell him to get out, but don't run away. So moving on here, but again, if call the district if you have any problems, questions, or issues trying to get tickets for any volleyball or football this weekend.
Yes, please.
Last night, the school board did meet, as they normally do on the second Tuesday of the month there. What last night's meeting, was it a pretty full agenda, pretty light, pretty average for as far as?
I would say probably about an average agenda. We were give or take about 2.5 hours. I mean, we did good business. We ran through, had some recognitions there at the first. We recognized our Teacher of the Year candidate, which was Tracy Clements from over at Parkview, and
good deal.
And had her group come in and brag on her for a little bit and the great job that she does.
Is that something that the board or the principals, how do they come to the decision on who gets that?
We as a instructional leadership staff, we nominate that.
Okay,
so
cool.
we get a little feedback from our principals, and
gotcha.
and start
because obviously you guys
around.
can't be in every classroom eyeballs. So
no,
there's someone saying, "Yeah, here it is."
And you know what? When we start nominating people like that, I have a hard time because my
it's like picking your favorite kids.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
How do you do that?
Well, you don't. And so we had a group that looked at it, kind of got some feedback, and went with Tracy, and she had a very good showing. We didn't get the state nomination this year, but she did a really good job and had an opportunity to give her a little bit of love and support. Had the Goddard and Roswell High bands come in and read the 47,000 things that they've both been associated with this year, and got a chance to talk to them a little bit.
Good deal.
And that was really nice. I mean, we started getting results from their marching competitions, early back in the early fall, late summer, and we had to wait because I was just like, wait, we don't want to do anything just yet. I promise you. And then it was funny. They sent in their stuff and I read it, and I had to, take a drink of water in the middle of it. And it was neat to get a chance to honor the two programs.
Yeah, they do great work. They're highly involved in the community. You see them all over the place. They're just hardworking kids, and obviously the coaches and everyone. I don't know, coach is not a right term in band.
Director.
The director.
The director.
In band, the directors and everything involved, and the parents and the volunteers and the boosters. I've talked to some of them, both Goddard and Roswell, and it's just a great group of people, and they just love music and love celebrating it and love learning about it. So.
Well, and again, back to that other. I mean, they've got some of their winter concerts coming up. They both were talking about that a little bit. They'll both be full display tomorrow night or Friday night at the ball game, and it is amazing. All the different things that go on at the football games, and that's a big deal with the band kids too. And,
one thing you can always say about band kids, they're one of the few that can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time.
It's a good thing
because they have to. I'm like, I just learned how to play an instrument. Now you want me to walk in formation and everything else? They can barely get the tune out.
Well, and it was interesting. Both the directors kind of mentioned last night the amount of hours that they put in, and the 6 a.m.s and the staying until it's dark, and like I said, they needed their opportunity to get their recognition.
Yeah.
So
well, good. Congratulations to all the band folks, and we thank them for keeping us entertained and creating atmosphere at our sporting events and kicking butt in their competition.
That's right. So, that's right. Then just kind of conducted a little business, went through some stuff, had a presentation, trying to bring in more of our principals to highlight what's going on inside their buildings. That's with 20 plus schools in the district. That's tough to give them 10 minutes and say, don't say any more, and but we're trying to kind of whittle out how we want to pull that off at our meetings, because we want to make sure that we're showcasing what's going on inside the buildings. Sure. Then just conducted some school board business, went through some policies, went through some basic stuff, some approval of bills, that kind of deal. Got over to our reports, and then started talking about kind of what's going on in the district, which is the part that I really like when we get to there, because that's when we can highlight. We did receive a new toolkit from the state, and the biggest thing that came out with that was test to stay.
Sure.
And the state has given us a chance to keep our kids in school. We've got a media blitz. You're reading yours, I got mine here in front of me, and it gonna get that out ASAP. The thing that I need everybody to understand. There's two big deals with this right now.
Okay.
The first and foremost is that we have to have the testing capacity. So if a student is in a classroom, and again, that's the other big component to this is these are dealing with exposures that occur within our classroom.
Gotcha.
So if we have a family member at the house and that was an exposure for our students, those are not we don't have the ability yet to test those kids too.
Okay.
At give or take $8-9 a test, and I have to give a kid 3 tests. Right now we're only
that's just one child.
That's just one child.
Yeah.
So right now we're highlighting on the kids that are exposed at school. So you're in a classroom and the kiddo next to you comes up positive for COVID, and you'd be getting the phone call that says your student was within 6 feet for 3 minutes. You're going to have to stay home for 10 days. Well, that will change. And it'll change to the point that we'll say, well, we have your consent to test in writing. Okay, let me do that one again. We're not just going to randomly do these things. Okay, we're going to communicate with the parents at every step of the way. They're going to know what's coming. We're not doing something nefarious. We're not doing crazy things. This is, Mike was exposed yesterday, and tomorrow when he gets there, that'll be day one. And we want to give just a non-invasive lower nasal swab, and it will have a rapid result that'll come back out of that, give or take 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
Very good. So if it's negative, then the kiddo gets to go to class and have a good day.
Life resumes back to normal.
Well, just regular class. And it's kind of the we've heard the parents say, I'll test my kid every day just let them stay. So the state heard that, and we're going to test on days 1, 3, and 5.
Gotcha. Okay, so hopefully that kind of curtails some of that out of the classroom time,
Right.
and kind of mitigates some of that. Because and they're right. Parents are right. Kids can't learn unless they're in the classroom.
And we agree.
The remote learning it's the best alternative for what was available. But at the end of the day, these kids need to be in the classroom. They need that interaction. They need that face-to-face accountability sometimes, and that's important.
Well, I'm a parent too, and I can hear multiple people saying there's got to be a better solution to this.
Sure.
And I think, this is a start.
Yeah.
I can name a lot of other better solutions, but right now none of those are acceptable at this point.
And something that we all have to understand is we all tend to see things from our own perspective, and I get that. You do it, I do it, we all do it. But from the board, from the PED's perspective, if you want to keep going up the ladder here, they've got to basically protect the least common denominator here. And so even though most people fall into this, they've got to have allowances for everyone, even if it's not the common. They got to make allowances for the most remote and most unique circumstance. And so that can at times make it a nightmare for most of us, because we've got to accommodate for everybody. And it's just the way the world is and everything else. So please use that understanding whenever we have these kind of conversations, discussions. That way we can come from a place of trying to understand and fix rather than a place of emotion. I'm not going to lie. We all know whenever time we get to come to battle for our kids, emotions come out. It's just, it's just the nature of humanity. But there's going to be things happen, but please understand, everyone. I know the school board, I know yourself, and I know everyone at the RISD is trying to do the best possible thing for everyone with the variables that they are given right now. And that's something we all need to understand.
Well, and one of the things we're running into right now is we see the same set of trends that are, across the state, with our numbers. But we get kind of pulled into the, and you're a part of it also kind of crowd.
Sure.
Because what'll happen is we'll have exposures that occur outside of the building, and then that impacts the kid in the school, and it impacts the teachers, as well, and people are living their lives and as they should.
Sure. And we're going through growing pains because we're going in uncharted territory. We don't know what's next. Is this thing going to evolve to another thing? Is it we're trying to, do the daily routine of school and education, but at the same time, we've got to offer some kind of protection for students and staff and everybody.
Well, as one of the things that I've worked with our group with is okay. I don't see the day of COVID 0 ever again. So what is COVID, and number wise, COVID's, we're done with that.
Yeah.
But what does COVID this look like? What does COVID that look like? And how can we adapt to it?
And as science progresses too, maybe they come to a point where the vaccines, it'll be like polio, where you take it once or we take whatever it is. I don't know, but all of those are variables in this, you know, and that's what we got to remember.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring up the vaccines, because it's that time of year where we give out flu shots.
Yes.
And they're nasal, and so we received all of our information, and we got ready to start the blitz with the kids to give that out.
Okay.
And I won't lie. I think I panicked, because my biggest fear is that people were thinking, all they would see is shots, and they would think the other, and so. I had to be resuscitated, and I was better. But my nurses did a phenomenal job. Katie McLean, who's the head of the nurses for our district, she's like, Brian, calm down.
Yeah.
She says, we got this. And I said, okay, I'm trusting, but we've had a couple clinics where people did get just a flu shot or flu vaccine.
Sure.
And we're not doing anything else yet. I have not received any information going forward on anything. So, I've had people say, well, I heard they're doing this, and I was like, well, I'd like to know where they're doing that at, because not here.
Yeah, at this point, any child vaccines are parents and doctors only. That's between y'all.
Yep. And I think again, I want to come back even like with the test to stay. We're not doing anything without a parent.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't just where we're going to line them up and do something like that. Parents,
Sure.
and even with the test to stay, there's going to be a written form that they're going to sign that says even just to stay in the building. You know, that kind of a deal. So
Well, and I can say this, and I'm going to say that it's safe to speak for yourself and the board on this. It's you know, obviously you guys have rules, you have agendas, you have things you have to follow, a criteria you have to meet here. But I know one thing is every person on that board, and yourself included, I imagine your staff could say the same thing. At no point are you're not going to hide or any, you know, everything's going to be transparent. If there's something going down, you're going to let parents know so they can act appropriately. It's not going to be, oh, there's not, I guarantee they're not going to go in and say, oh, we just vaccinated all your kids at school today. We sent them home vaccinated. You're welcome. That's never going to happen. None of that stuff's going to happen. And I'm sure as long as you're superintendent, that's not happening.
That'd be correct.
So please don't put that out of your mind.
Yes.
Let's separate the rumor from the real stuff here, and let's, you know, talk about the real stuff. And this is what's real and going on. Flu shots, nothing to do with COVID shots for kids at this point. Between the school district and COVID shots for kids, they're not in the ball game. That's between you and your doctor and your family on whether you think it's best for your kid to get a vaccine.
Right, and that will be a family decision.
Yeah,
and that's, you know, I've made that comment multiple times that my job's not to be the parent. My job's to try to keep the doors open and keep the kids there. I think it's a good olive branch from the state trying to go this way. I will say that, as far as trying to keep us in the doors.
Well, they're not stupid. They got to see the writing on the wall. The public at large is not happy with the decisions being made, and they need to address that.
Well,
you know?
and I can't say that I disagree with you there. Yeah. I do know this. You know, like I said, we're just trying to kind of keep everything moving, and I'm going to let some of the powers that be do whatever the powers that be do.
Sure.
And we'll deal with it to the best of our ability here in Roswell.
Sure.
And you know, we've Mike, we're like 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, man.
I know.
I mean, and you know, give or take a little over a month away from Christmas, and we've knocked out a full semester of school.
It's going by. We're getting through it.
And you know, I went out and did some visits with the kids and talked to them, and I brought that up to them. You know, I said, y'all realize it's almost Christmas, and a year ago you weren't even in school right now, and you know, and all the things that we've been able to accomplish given the circumstances that we have. I think the kids have done a phenomenal job. And the parents.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have had to spring things on them for no other reason than just that's the way it is.
Absolutely.
And, you know, again, and I had somebody tell me that they said, man, you're sucking up to that and I said, you darn right I am. Because
you serve the community.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, without the help of the parents that have got the kids there and have, you know, had the 10-day quarantine so that they could come back for 2 days only to be quarantined again. I mean, they have given us the ability to make this possible.
So we're going to try.
We're going to try.
Yeah. But anyway, if you have any questions about any of the stuff, that you have a representative on the board, talk to your school board, send them an email, and share them your thoughts. Quick question. Speaking of school board real quick, obviously since last time you and I spoke, there's been a school board election. There's going to be a couple new faces on the board here in January.
Yes, sir.
What's this time period like between there? I mean, do those soon-to-be board members, obviously they don't have any decision-making skills right now, but are they in on the meetings listening for the most part, or is that totally on them till January 1?
So it is on them until January 1. The two new, Mr. French, Mr. Cheney, were both in attendance last night, and they are going to be headed up to Albuquerque early December for
training.
Little training.
Yeah.
New Mexico School Boards Association has a training that goes on up there. And then we'll get them sworn in for that January meeting. And,
good deal.
Yeah, it's both of them, you know, pretty open, ready to kind of
hit
see
the
what's
ground
going
running,
on.
and
I think so.
See what kind of work's cut out for them here in their coming terms. Here.
That's right.
So, but good deal. Let's move on. And is there any other things from the meeting tonight that we need to cover anything, or is that pretty much?
Not really. I think that the you know, like I said, the big thing was then we ran through our departments and kind of went through you know, what's going on, and we've got a lot going on, and you know, one of our I guess the other big thing for us that we're working on right now is trying to figure out ways to help our teachers, and try to maybe pull some things off. Look at what we're doing and look at what they're doing and look at what they're doing in the environment that they're doing it in now.
Yeah.
And how can we help? I'm trying to get out to the buildings to just kind of get a listening tour going, and it's interesting right now. I mean, people are done. I mean, they're full.
Yeah. Well, and this is going back to the beginning of our conversation here and talking about our Teacher of the Year nomination for the district here, and the unfortunate truth is in all fairness, that should have been awarded to every single teacher in the RISD, because every single one of them, to a person, has gone above and beyond the call of duty this last 2 years for your kids. I mean, yeah, I'm a little biased. My wife is a school teacher, but also I see it day in and day out. I see the things she goes through. I see the struggle she goes through, and her and every other member of the RISD is going through this. I don't care if you're a teacher or an admin or a custodian or what. If you're a part of the RISD, you're going above and beyond right now, and have been for the last 2 years. And when you go at that pace for that long, it can wear on you. It can make you tired and things. So my ask is cut our staff some breaks here. These people have been slaving for all of us for the last 2 years, and they're getting torn in different directions. And it's nobody's fault. It's just the way of the world. Right. You guys are being met obligations. You pass it down, and sometimes you're like, you got to get it done. I know we don't have all the variables to get it done, but we got to get it done anyway. And that's what everyone's facing in the RISD right now, and school-wide across the state. And so remember that. Let's remember that, and remember these folks. These are the same people that shape and mold your children's future. Work with them. Don't fight them. Let's work together.
Do you need a job?
I have bias there, because I know my wife day in and day out, what she sees and the struggles and frustrations and dealing with parents and staff and everybody. It can be frustrating. I know. But if we can all understand that hands are tied in some aspects, but in other aspects, there's everything that's humanly possible done. And you're upset, though I understand, does not help fix the problem. It just adds to it.
And you know what? I mean, about the last 2.5, 3 weeks, we've had some pretty challenging times within the district, and nothing of a curriculum, nothing of a district, type issue. Just statistics will get you every time, and you're bound to determine kind of a deal.
Yeah,
that's something. And so we've had a couple instances and different things that have come up, and that's the thing that I've in a new position that I've had a chance to really see, like, from all sides of it. And you nailed it. And you've mentioned teachers, and you've got parents, and you've got employers, and you've got, and it is really, really imperative that everybody who is already spent and can't take one more thing and doesn't have one more chance to give somebody another chance, this is not over. And I think from my perspective, I think we're about to a turning point. I don't want to say tipping point, because I'll be honest, I don't see that. I do see a turning point where it could probably get back to a little bit more what normal looks like.
Seeing some light at the tunnel here. Maybe not a lot, but maybe have a speck of light.
And I hate to say just the sheer fact that we've made it this far, but we have. We've made it this far, and you've got a senior class that is fixing to be able to graduate and have a full senior year. You've got a kindergarten class that's going to get to go through a full set of kindergarten, so that next year when they hit first grade, they've had everything. I mean, and
that's a huge deal.
Oh, it is. I mean, a lot of times you end up focusing on those higher grades simply because that's easier to relate to for most parents. Well, I got my senior year, you didn't get yours. But those, when you say we had a kindergartner 1 year, now you have a second grader. There's a lot that occurs in those 2 years.
Yeah. Well, just to give you an example, my wife is a second grade teacher, and I think I talked with you about this. The fact that these kids went through the kindergarten and first grade through a lot of remote learning and things. That's the ground basis for learning how to work and how to be in a classroom. The kindergarten and first grade, that's their first time in a group setting like that. So they didn't have that experience. So by the time they get to second grade, they should kind of already be a little bit more into that routine. Now you got to get them into a whole new routine of learning how to be a student at school.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, we got to get you caught up on the curriculum too, because let's face it, a lot of the retention of what they're supposed to learn in kindergarten and first grade didn't stick as well because, well, it's not as an effective way as being the kids in the classroom. It's just the nature of the beast. But so that's what we're talking about here is that those development years are so important. And that's why that fourth grade and seventh grade are just as important as 10th grade and 12th grade.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's why, because there's certain milestones and progression as this person goes from a child to an adult that they've got to meet. And they got to go through those checkpoints before they get there. And that's part of it. So.
Well, there's not a piece of the journey that can be skipped. Yeah. And if, you know, I mean, as far as if that was the case, then we would have been advancing kids, you know, years past. Sure. And that kind of stuff. But there's always something within that grade level that's important.
Maybe we can get the movies and do like the Matrix. You know, remember in the first Matrix where you wanted to learn karate, they just plugged you in and like, hey, I know karate. Till we get there. Well, we're going to have to do it this way.
Hang on, I got to write that one down so that when I get that phone call later today.
Ask Keanu Reeves about it. He knows all about that, too. But, of course, we just saw the time. We need to wrap this up here. But if anybody has any questions about it, don't hesitate to call your office.
Absolutely.
He'll be happy to talk to you, even if it's crazy, and he'll be happy to dispel that for you. But if you do, and talk to your teachers, talk to your principals, work with them be very active in your child's education now more than ever, because the teachers are doing every single thing they can. They need you to help them, and so help out.
Well, and, you know, we're coming down to the home stretch, and it doesn't hurt to even just pop an email to a teacher and just say, how's my kiddo doing? Yeah. And that doesn't mean you're going to get great or bad or anything like that. Just, you know, don't wait till the last minute.
Well, and that's how your child develops, is that relationship between you and your parents' teachers.
Absolutely.
That's how it happens. So when there is a problem or something that seems to be developing here, you can nip it at the early stages versus when it's blown up into something much bigger and much harder to fix.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything we missed? Anything we want to share?
That's all I got.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. I'll let you go stomp out some more fires.
I appreciate it.
10 or 12 of them. And we'll see you next time here. Have a great Thanksgiving, you and your family.
Likewise, happy Veterans Day to our veterans out there as well.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, I know Roswell High's doing their Veterans Assembly. Mesa Middle School's doing one. They're asking vets to meet at Broadmoor at 1:50 tomorrow.
I believe so.
I know Goddard's doing their Veteran in the Classroom event that day, so they're going to have some veterans that are going to be
little scaled down this year. And we were, I'll be blunt. I mean, some of my veterans we didn't want coming into larger groups and even remotely taking the chance of something happening with the transmission, but we've got some groups that are trying some smaller, some scaled down.
I kind of love the vet in classroom because it's an intimate session, and you get to hear what a veteran thinks, one-on-one, personal. And I
look forward to that.
Yeah. I'd actually be doing it, but I'm kind of busy during tomorrow morning.
You got a thing?
I'll be here.
I understand.
Listen, this is a really bad day. Then I'll be free tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
It is 8:50.